Good morning, friends. Happy Wednesday, I guess. You know, some of us are off work, but some of us unfortunately have to work. That sucks. But hey, stay busy. Weekend will be here soon. New Year's weekend. Hope you had a great Christmas. I had a good one as usual. I ate too much good food out there. I can see why people gain weight on the holidays. But I had a good Christmas. Hope you did too. Now we're in that week of bowl games. Had some pretty good bowl games. Some were so-so. Going into this weekend, going into the New Year's Day weekend, the big matchups are coming. Semifinals, all that good stuff. We'll get to that. We got some news to get to first before we get into reviewing football and basketball the last few days. So let's get to that. Before we start, hit that subscribe button wherever it is down there so you don't miss nothing. All right, news. Here we go. Man, Florida running back Trevor Etienne, I think that's how you say his name. Good running back, transferring to Georgia. Man, talk about a kick in the crotch for Florida fans. It's one thing if a guy on your team you like is good, is transferring, but transferring to one of your rivals, man, whoo, yeah, that's a kick in the crotch right there for Florida fans. Did you see the end of the Eastern Michigan bowl game? Players sucker punched guy from the other team. Well, Eastern Michigan apologized for Corey Hernandez's sucker punch after the game. No word yet. Corey Hernandez has actually apologized. He may have. I didn't see it, but yeah, that's just I don't know, man. I know you're pissed because you lost and everything, but come on, use your head. Hey, New Mexico State head coach Jerry Kill, man, done really well there at New Mexico State. He's stepping down. Tony Sanchez, he's named the new head coach in New Mexico State. I remember Jerry Kill back in Minnesota did a really, really good job in Minnesota, but because of his epilepsy, he had to step down. And then he went on to become a coordinator, I think, some places or something. But then he got the New Mexico State head coaching job. Did a great job there. I'm just wondering if maybe the epilepsy he's having to step down because of that again. Anyway, great coach. He really is. He knows how to turn around programs. Oklahoma wideout LV Bunkley Shelton. He's entering the transfer portal. As is Central Florida defensive end Josh Seliskar. He's entering the transfer portal. Hey, good news for Oklahoma State fans. Ollie Gordon, that badass running back y'all got, he's coming back to the Cowboys next season, he says. So that's good. Florida State quarterback, I guess backup quarterback, Tate Rodemaker, he's going to skip the Orange Bowl so he can enter the transfer portal. This whole transfer portal thing, they really need to do something about it, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe make one day where they can transfer, like, maybe in February, make it a week after signing day. I don't know, make it transfer portal day. That way everybody can jump into the portal and coaches can pick up players before spring practice starts. Because this crap of, second week of the season, guys are jumping in the transfer portal. It's like, come on, man. So with that being said, to me personally, this Orange Bowl, just not excited about it anymore. When Georgia and FSU got kind of kicked out of the top four, I was looking forward to that game. I was like, man, now they can prove who's the better team. But now, it's I don't know. I'm just not really excited about that game anymore. I'll watch it, but I'm just not really excited about it as I was now after all this. So they really need to do something about transfer portal. Make one day of the year the guys can transfer out. Like I said, make it the day in February, a week after signing day. That way they can find a team before the spring practice and coaches can get guys in there before their spring practice starts. But who knows? College football's got so many crazy, stupid things going on right now. It's just crazy. Some basketball news. UConn center Donovan Clingan out 3 to 4 weeks. Foot injury. So hopefully he gets back soon because everybody's fixing to start conference play. So, all right, let's get to some of these bowl games. Last Friday, Gasparilla Bowl, Georgia Tech beat Central Florida 30-17. Georgia Tech's Haynes King, 87 passing yards. Wow. Touchdown, threw an interception, but he ran for 89 yards in the touchdown. Haynes, 128 rushing yards. Central Florida side, Ross Plumley, He's not bad. 198 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Harvey had 120 rushing yards for the Knights. Georgia Tech, Rutherford, he had a receiving touchdown. Kicker Bice, 12 points in that game. UCF's Baker, 173 receiving yards, touchdown. Hudson also had a touchdown catch. Saturday, the 76 Birmingham Bowl. Duke beat Troy, 17-10. Duke's Loftus, 183 passing yards, no touchdowns. Coleman had a rushing touchdown. Duke defense had 2 sacks. On Troy's side of the ball, Watson, 230 passing yards, but no touchdowns. That's crazy. Graham had a rushing touchdown. Their defense also had 2 sacks. Camilla Bowl, Northern Illinois beat Arkansas State 21-19. Northern Illinois, Lombardi, 200 passing yards and a touchdown. He also ran for a touchdown. Barnes, 105 receiving yards and a touchdown. Arkansas State's Rayner, 250 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, threw a pick. Rucker, 107 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Good game for him. Arkansas State's defense had 2 picks and 8 tackles for loss. Only lost by, 2 points, 3 points? Armed Forces Bowl. Air Force got back on the winning track, beating James Madison 31-21. James Madison had a great year. They've only had like 2 losses. Air Force was having a great year. Remember when 8-0 and then they dropped their last 4? Well, there you go. They won their bowl game. Larrier for Air Force, 45 passing yards and a touchdown, but he also ran for a touchdown. Michael, 203 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns for Air Force. Nice game for him. James Madison's McLeod, 257 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. 2 of those touchdowns were to Sproles. James Madison's defense, linebacker Aiden Fisher, 17 tackles, 12 were solo. Nice game for him. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Georgia State beat Utah State 45-22. Georgia State's Granger, 257 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Ran for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hell of a game for him. Brock, 276 rushing yards and a touchdown. Thompson had 2 TD catches for Georgia State. For Utah State, Williams, 131 passing yards and a touchdown. Booth, he rushed for a touchdown. Utah State's defense, 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Hard to believe they lost by 23 points with that kind of defense playing like that. The 68 Ventures Bowl, we just talked about this. The Eastern Michigan player Hernandez sucker punched a South Alabama player after the game. South Alabama beat him by 49 points. Maybe that's why he was so pissed off. South Alabama's Lopez, 192 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown. Pritchett, 127 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns for South Alabama. For Eastern Michigan, they scored 3 points in the second quarter and then 7 points in the fourth quarter, and that was it. That's all they could do. Like we said, sucker punch after the game kind of ruined the mood, I guess. Las Vegas Bowl. This was a good game. Northwestern, they've been doing good this year, but I was like, they're going against Utah. I don't know if they can win that one. They won it 14-7, low scoring, but they won it. Bryant from Northwestern, 222 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Curtin Johnson had TD catches. Utah's Bernard rushed for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. That was the only points they scored. Not surprising, Northwestern's defense had 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. I'm a Northwestern fan. I'm proud of them. Like I said before, back in July, when all that crap happened, I was like, they're going to be 0-12, maybe 1-11 this year. Get lucky, win 2 games. Look at them, man. They went to a bowl game, won it. They're on the way up after all that sad stuff happened this last summer. And then the Hawaii Bowl, which shame it wasn't on Christmas Eve like usual. Coastal Carolina beat San Jose State 24-14. Coastal Carolina's Vasco, 199 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Nice game for him. Pinckney, 123 receiving yards and a touchdown. San Jose State, Corderio, good quarterback, 215 passing yards and a touchdown. Olsen, 96 receiving yards and a touchdown there. And then yesterday, Quick Lane Bowl started off kind of slow, but it started building momentum as the game went on. Plays were happening, scoring was happening. Minnesota beat Bowling Green 30-24. Bowling Green started making a comeback. Looked like they may possibly do it, but Minnesota held them off. Minnesota's Kramer, 26 passing yards. 2 touchdowns, but he ran for a touchdown. Taylor, 208 rushing yards and a touchdown. Bowling Greenside, Bazelak, 221 passing yards, touchdown, also ran for a touchdown. And Hilaire, I think that's how you say his name, 152 receiving yards and a touchdown. First Responders Bowl, I watched this one. Congratulations, Texas State. They won their first bowl game as an FBS team. I believe they joined FBS back in 2012, 2013. So the first bowl win as an FBS team. I'll admit I was rooting for Rice. They were right down the road, so I go to a lot of their games. Rice, Texas State jumped out in front really big in the second half. Rice came back in that first half. I think it was like a 3-point game at halftime. But second half, it was all Texas State. Anyway, Texas State's Finley, 152 passing yards. Jeter, 3 rushing touchdowns. That guy was incredible yesterday. Holloway, 2 pick sixes for Holloway. His last game as a college player. And then the offensive lineman Jones, he catches a TD catch. So big boy was huffing and puffing in the end zone, but he got it. Great moment for him, really is. Rice's Connors, 2 rushing touchdowns. Rice threw 5 interceptions and fumbled twice. And I have to say, that was probably some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. I know every week we say that because it is. The officiating in America is horrible. I don't know if these guys need to go back to school. They need to go to the eye doctor or what. But there's some horrible officiating every week. And yesterday's First Responder Bowl, man, they couldn't even get like the beginning of the third quarter. If you didn't see it, Rice roughing the kicker, and then they called 2 personal fouls, dead ball fouls, I guess, on Rice. So it was going to be first down Texas State plus 30 more yards. Well, then the refs came back and said, "Oh wait, one of those was on Texas State." Like, yeah, you think we all see it in America. But crazy game, 3 personal fouls in the first minute and a half of the third quarter. It was crazy. They really need to do something about officiating. I hear people complain about NFL too. I don't watch much NFL. I'm mostly a college guy, but I think it's just horrible across the country. They really need to do something about this. Anyway, off my soapbox. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl last night. Kansas beat UNLV 49-36. They had a little scuffle after that game, too. Tempers flaring. Bean, 449 passing yards, 6 touchdowns for Kansas. He did throw 3 picks, too, but hey, when you pass for almost 450 yards and 6 touchdowns, overlook the 3 interceptions. Grimm, 160 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns for him. Arnold, 132 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns for him. So the passing game for Kansas last night was on freaking fire. For UNLV, Moava, I think that's how you say his name. I'm probably getting it wrong all year. 291 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had a great game too. DeJesus and Davis Jr. have rushing touchdowns for UNLV. UNLV, good season for them. They've been kind of down at the bottom of the college football world for the last several years, but 9-5, even though they lost last night, hell of a season for them. 9-5, man, good for them. All right, let's get to basketball now. Last Friday, number 2 Kansas beat Yale 75-60. Yale actually led by 1 at halftime. For Kansas, McCullough Jr., 34 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 for 7 from three-point land, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Hell of a game for him. Team shot 100% from the free throw line. That's incredible. Yale's Mabini and Mahoney, 12 points each. They were the leading scorers. Yale shot 43% from the field. Number 6 Marquette beat Georgetown 81-51. Marquette's Joplin, 20 points, 9 rebounds. See if I can say this guy's name. Ighodor, and Kalik, 13 points each for Marquette. Marquette shot 45% from the field. Georgetown, leading scorer, Epps, 14 points. Then they shot 33% from the field. Man, Georgetown, they used to be on top of the basketball world. They've kind of fallen off. Number 10, Baylor beat Mississippi Valley State 107-48. Mississippi Valley State has not won a game this year. Baylor led 30 at halftime. Walter for Baylor, 26 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Nunn, 15 points. Love came off the bench, 15 points. Bears shot 67% from the field. Reynolds for Mississippi Valley State, he's leading scorer, came off the bench to do that, 14 points. They shot 63% from three-point land, 75% from the free throw line, but that looks like their only points, 107-48. That looks like where most of their points came from. Number 13, Illinois beat Missouri, 97-73. Guerrera, 28 points, 8 rebounds for Illinois. Shannon Jr., 30 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Nice game for him. They shot 49% from the field. Missouri, East the second. He was their leading scorer with 18 points. Number 16, Colorado State beat Loyola Marymount, 76-67. Clifford for Colorado State, 23 points, 4 rebounds. Stevens, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. Colorado State shot 57% from the field. Johnston for Loyola Marymount, leading scorer, 27 points. Not a bad game for him. Number 17, BYU beat Bellarmine, 101-59. 6 BYU players were in double-digit points. They shot 58% from the field. Number 18, Clemson beat Queens, 109-79. Hall for Clemson, leading scorer, 27 points. Number 19, Texas beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi, 71-55. 5 Longhorn players were in double-digit points in that game. Number 20, James Madison beat Morgan State, 89-75. James Madison, 12-0. Their basketball team is following the footsteps of the football team. Now let's see what they do in baseball and softball here in a few months. Number 24, Wisconsin beat Chicago State, 80-53. A.J. Starr for Wisconsin, career high, 29 points for him. Moving to Saturday. Took 2 overtimes, but number 14, Florida Atlantic beat number 4, Arizona by 1, 96-95. Florida Atlantic's Davis, 35 points, 9 rebounds. Hell of a game for him. Followed by Gaffney, who had 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. They shot 50% from the field. They scored 14 points off of turnovers. Love for Arizona, 26 points, 5 rebounds. 4 others had double-digit points for the Wildcats. They only shot 39% from the field in that game. Number 5, UConn beat St. John's, 69-65. St. John's actually led by 6 points at halftime. Johnson for UConn, 16 points, 4 rebounds. Newton and Spencer, 15 points each. They shot 43% from the field. St. John's Sereno, he was the leading scorer, 14 points, 11 rebounds. They shot 39% from the field, only 22% from the three-point land. Number 23, Memphis beat Vanderbilt, 77-75. Memphis' Jones, 28 points, 9 rebounds. He was 12 for 18 from the free throw line. Memphis, 10 steals in this game, 18 points off of turnovers. For Vanderbilt, Majon, 22 points. He was 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Number 25, Ole Miss beat Southern Miss, 89-72. Ole Miss's Murrell, 26 points. He was 4 for 8 from three-point land. Murray behind him, 21 points. He was 5 for 6 from three-point land. Ole Miss, they had 11 steals in this game, scored 26 points off of turnovers. Southern Miss's Montgomery came off the bench, leading scorer, 15 points. Hart behind him, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Southern Miss did shoot 48% from the field. Sunday, UMass, they moved to 8-3. They beat Old Dominion 87-65. TCU, they moved to 10-2, beat Hawaii 65-51. Nevada, man, 12-1. They beat Georgia Tech 72-64. You know, Nevada's happy about that because their football team was horrible this year. I think they won 1 game maybe, if I remember right. No games Monday and Tuesday. Today, Wednesday, basketball. You got 10-1 Grand Canyon playing Bethesda University. And then you got 9-2 Virginia playing Morgan State later. Football, 1 p.m. today, ESPN, Military Bowl, 6-6 Virginia Tech versus 11-2 Tulane. 4:30 today, ESPN, Duke's Mayo Bowl, 8-4 North Carolina versus 8-4 West Virginia. Coach gets mayonnaise dumped on his head. How good is that? 7 p.m. Fox, the Holiday Bowl. 10-3 Louisville versus the very disappointed 7-5 USC. And then tonight, 8 p.m. ESPN Texas Bowl, 7-5 Texas A&M versus 9-4 Oklahoma State. Yeah, this week, man, it's starting. The bowl games are gonna start getting better and better. Like I said, this weekend, we'll start Friday night in the Cotton Bowl Friday night. Missouri to Ohio State. Ohio State's had a lot of players transfer out, including quarterback McCord. When I first saw this matchup, I said, man, Missouri's having a hell of a year, but I don't think they can beat Ohio State. I think they can now. Will it happen? Who knows? But I think they can. So that Cotton Bowl is going to be good. New Year's Day coming up, all these great bowls, the semifinals coming up. A lot of good college sports this weekend. So, if you're having to work, unfortunately, this week, put bowl games on the computer in your office. Pass some time. When the boss comes around, make it look like you're working. Anyway, we'll be back probably the 2nd. Because we're going to spend all this week, the rest of this week, watching sports. So the 2nd, we'll come back, review everything that happened, preview the championship game. That'll be set. Anyway, stay busy. Watch plenty of college sports. There's a ton of it these next few days. And we'll see you next time. Oh, and if you're not going to be, traveling, if you're going to be traveling for New Year's, be safe and have a great and happy New Year. We'll see you next week.